An insurance agent gets death threats and the cops called on him while he's out door knocking. I've got the story for you in a moment and my opinions on how it happened and why, and how you can avoid the same fate. Greetings and salutations. My name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents nationally to sell final expense, Medicare, annuities, and ACA. If you'd like to learn more about joining my agency, head over to davidduford.com/FAQ. Okay, so I found a story about this agent getting death threats and the cops called on him the other day when I was perusing the internets, and I thought it'd be an interesting share for you all, especially if you're thinking about selling insurance and kind of alarmed of the possibilities of what could happen to you if you're out there and trying to make a living in the insurance space that requires you to go door to door. So we're going to actually kind of run through this, read a little bit of it. I'm going to try to provide some context as to what's going on as we go through the story. And then I'm going to wrap it up by summarizing kind of my thoughts on why this happened and, more importantly, what steps you can take as an insurance agent to avoid seemingly these misunderstandings when it comes to selling insurance door to door. It's really a huge misunderstanding is how the Lehigh Valley man selling life insurance describes the last few days of his life. Visits to the local homes of people who requested free child safe kits, which includes child fingerprinting, had morphed into a series of concerned Facebook posts, calls to the police, a warning from Northampton County to local parents, and death threats against the man. Homeowners say that the visits left them worried, claiming they didn't know why the man was there. He didn't identify himself, and at least in one instance, he claimed to be with children and youth. So a little side action here before we get started. This is probably the crux of what the problem is. When you go door knocking prospects who, yes, they may have requested some information, but don't have much recall rate on who's going to be contacting them and kind of a reason why they will. You're going to get people who have these kind of concerns. And again, can't validate if any of this happened or it didn't. Sometimes people make stuff up. Sometimes it's true. But one of the things that the first lesson I would teach you guys is when you work for an insurance company and when you start to identify yourself as something that you're not, this is kind of what's going to happen. Now, it's one thing, like in final expenses, say I'm a state-regulated final expense agent, or a life insurance agent is kind of another way to say that in so many words. But what this gentleman is saying is again, the claim from the public is that he's with children and youth. That just doesn't sound right. That sounds skeptical. And again, when you go door to door, assume that you're going to be met with cynicism and skepticism. Welcome to the modern era. So you need to be more forthright and transparent about who you are right away and be willing to identify yourself right from the beginning. In an interview with LehighValleyLive.com, the man vehemently denies identifying himself as a county employee or that he was with the Children and Youth Division. Again, I can't confirm or deny that this person actually did this. I'm more concerned with kind of painting this as a very important lesson to be made about being transparent, naming yourself. In fact, one of the things we teach agents is to give your first and last name and to describe specifically up front what they did when they requested the information about whatever it is that they did, because one of the first things you have to satisfy as an insurance agent is to describe why it is you're there and why they should care. The longer that goes on without satisfying that like base level need, you're going to get people who are paranoid or scared, that have their reasons for being that way, to derive their own conclusions and start to do things like go on to Facebook and spread the news or call the cops. So again, the more forthright that you do this, and I've done door-to-door sales in the final expense life insurance business for years, knocked on thousands of doors at this point. I've never had the cops, but one time called them because I sat in next to somebody's house for like 30 or 45 minutes reviewing some work and could understand the concern there. But otherwise, me knocking on doors, never had any problems because I always identified myself up front. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. It's completely false, he said. The man's name and photo was shared on Facebook with comments calling him a predator and a pervert. He got death threats and had to call Pennsylvania State Police. At least two people told LehighValleyLive.com that they reached out to local police after the visits. Messages to Northampton Borough and Whitehall Township Police, which the people said took reports, were not immediately returned. On Wednesday, Northampton County said it received reports of a person looking to fingerprint kids and claiming they were with the Children, Youth, and Family Division, but that the person was not a county employee. The man said that the people have to request the kits either through a shared link or via website. As part of the process, they agree to have an American Income Life Insurance representative contact them. American Income Life Insurance confirmed the man is one of their agents. So this is the strategy that American Income Life uses, in case you didn't know. This is where they teach their agents to basically get in on one angle to then transition it to the insurance angle. The child safety kits is a very common strategy that is used over there. Also, they use a lot of the union type of benefits like accidental death coverage to get in the door and then talk about additional life insurance purchases. One of the things that's commonly an expressed concern, this does work, and if they request the information and it's all there, it's at the letter of the law legit. One of the concerns a lot of agents have just is with the business is the strategy a lot of life insurance companies or agencies teach, which is to lead on something totally different than what it is that they're trying to sell. I'm not saying this is a bait and switch necessarily, but the idea of baiting in somebody into an appointment, then switching it around to sell insurance, for a lot of people, understandably out there, is concerning. They want transparency and forthrightedness, and they don't want to start talking about something completely unrelated from selling life insurance. And again, the problem with this sometimes is that the prospects misconstrue this, and they're in a position where they are being sold something and are being offered something they weren't aware of that would be offered to them, and they get a little incensed. And the website does say, by entering and submitting your information, you give consent to a licensed insurance agent to contact you to arrange a convenient time to deliver our child safe kits and explain additional insurance coverage available. The agency attempt to get in contact via phone, but if they are unable to reach in person, an agent goes out to the house, the man said, and that's 100% fine. Door knocking is a great way to make a living in the insurance sales business. Whether you want to or not is your decision. The people who do well at it know it works very well. You just got to know how to present yourself at the door. We'll give you some tips at the end of this in order to minimize this particular issue that had happened. One woman said she did not request a kit. Lots of people say they never did, but they actually did. If you've been in the insurance business, how many people have you heard said, that's my signature on the card, but I didn't send that back? Or yeah, that's my email, but I didn't send this off via Facebook, right? So again, stuff that you hear all the time. That the man came to her door and did not respond when she spoke to him through her Ring camera. He did not identify who he was and was not wearing anything that would identify him, so she called Whitehall Township Police. So again, here's some basic pro tips, guys. Number one, when somebody talks to you, respond back. Pro tip number two, look like a professional. Again, I like to think we all have some common sense here, but to me it sounds like maybe this guy just looked like a bum. If you act and dress and do things that are like a bum, you're going to be treated like a bum. So, tuck your shirt in. Wear business casual clothes. One thing that I used to do door knocking is I made a lanyard. I guess that messed up. But it had my badge on there. It had my identification, my licensing information, and this is stuff that I would have on me because you're showing an appeal to authority. And you can show, hey, this is me, this is legitimate. It's an appeal to legitimize who you are. And without that kind of stuff, especially if how you act and your mannerisms are shifty and not, something that exudes confidence, this is the kind of reaction that you'll get, especially with people who, frankly, are maybe more paranoid than normal. The man realized something was wrong Monday afternoon when a friend in Northampton Borough sent him a screenshot of a Facebook post made on Sunday. And the post, which has since been removed, was a photo of the man from a home surveillance system. He remembers speaking to the homeowner on Wednesday through the camera system. From there, things have spiraled out of control and a lot of misinformation has been spread, he said. There was false information in the post, the man said, but this did not identify the man by name. He and his managers worked to report the Facebook post. The man said he has gone through Whitehall Township Police to have another Facebook post removed. The person deleted it on the condition that I do not contact her again, he said. Another post listed his name and showed his personal Facebook page and his work page. The man said he deleted the Facebook page because of the harassment that I was receiving. The fact that I'm being accused of such a thing, it's distressing. It put my life at risk, he said, adding, I'm kind of scared to leave my home, scared to be in my own home. During this time, a person reached out to another police department in Northampton County to confirm his identity. An officer contacted the man who verified his job and why he went to the home, and that was the end of it. He said, I appreciate someone taking the correct approach, not widely posting on Facebook. Right. So, and again, that's the thing. Prospecting still exists door to door, and it absolutely works, probably works better than ever. but there's a particular process that we have to go through to lower the understandable heightened level of concern, risk that people have across America. And if you're not sensitive to this stuff, and again, I don't know if this man did anything wrong or not, but in general, if we're not sensitive to these realities, then you're going to have this kind of crap happen to you as an agent, even if you don't anticipate it or desire it or even want it to happen. The man said he lost money over this and changed the region he covers because of the claims. He said he respects that people felt there was something amiss and they wanted to bring it to people's attention, but he's now terrified for his wife and himself. All I want to do is live my life normally and go back to living my life normally and clearing my name of this horrendous accusations against me, he said, adding his reputation has completely gone out the window with this. Accusations like this, they just don't go away. So that is the man who got called on the police, got death threats, and got virally spread in a bad way all over the internet. So how do you prevent this from happening? Like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, number one, if you're going to door knock, you have to be sensitive to other people. Again, I'm not saying any particular thing wrong about this agent, but when you go out there and prospect, think about the paranoia and skepticism people have. And you need to dress appropriately. You need to act appropriately. So when I'm running at the door, not running at it, but like knocking the door, I'm going to make sure to step back to provide ample space between myself and the person at the door. I'm going to look them square in the eyes when they answer. If they ask over the ring who you are and identify yourself, I'm going to show my identification. I'm going to show them the information they requested. And I'm going to walk and play the part of a completely trustworthy person. In other words, think if the roles were reversed. Some stranger knocks on your door unannounced. You probably are a little concerned who it is. You expect, if you're going to let that person in the door, to know a little bit about who they are, why they're there, and to validate that they're actually legitimately the person that they're saying they are. And so that's why I recommend things like lanyards, badges, dressing business casual or better even, and having good body language, looking people square in the eyes, smiling, and being a generally communicative, easygoing person. That is what's going to break the barriers and get you in the home as an agent. Last couple of things I will say about this, to me, more about this and reading this is I would question this gentleman's delivery. Again, delivery is everything. Perception is reality. And the perception that was being created based on what all these people said and the kind of the bad news that spread, to me, sounds as if this person wasn't, again, exuding those factors that make the difference and creating that trust instantaneously with people that you're trying to prospect. If you don't do that, then you run into these kind of, probably not as bad as this, but you won't get into your doors and you won't help people. The other thing that I think can be said to an extent is that the type of leads that you work matter too. When you're knocking on a door, make sure that you're working leads that people actually remember. Again, this is kind of the reason why I like to recommend fresh and exclusive leads to agents, not leads that were generated days, were really months and years ago in some cases, because people's memory fades and they forget doing something. I also like leads that actually are direct to the point on what it is that we're trying to accomplish. If they're wanting life insurance, I like the lead to mention life insurance. If it mentions something other than life insurance or half mentions it or says something entirely different, this kind of skepticism just naturally builds. Again, think about it. You sent off for some information about, getting some free gift card, and there was no mention of life insurance, and some dude trying to sell you a policy shows up your door. You're going to be a little incensed, right? So again, take it from me. Follow the process of having good body language at the door. Make sure if you're selling insurance somewhere that somebody can teach you how to do that. Don't discount the importance of body communication. It's really everything. When people ask you who you are and where you're from, that's already a problem. The fact that you aren't addressing this in your script is leading to this kind of concern and skepticism, and probably this kind of stuff will just increase with time. So the more upfront that you are, the more direct you are in describing to the prospect who you are, why you're there, and showing them what you did, the more likely you're going to break down those trust concerns and get the appointment and help people out. So I hope this helped you out, and hopefully it didn't alarm you. I still think door knocking is an excellent way to prospect and find business, especially if you use the right kind of leads as well. That's what we do at DeFord Insurance Group in the final expense arena. And again, if you're interested in learning more about what we do, head on over to daviddeford.com/FAQ to learn more about what we do and how our business works and how you can join us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.